Wine has been around for thousands of years, produced by hundreds of different cultures and countries, each with its own style and taste. Red wine is one of them, which is considered as an exceptional and healthy drink and is admired by a large community worldwide. We all have heard about red wine, but have you ever wondered how the flavors of blackberry or raspberry get into a bottle only made from grapes, or precisely how red wine is made? Like most other things, making red wine is a process that is divided into different stages. The process begins with growing or cultivating dark purple grapes. The color we get to see in red wine is derived from an element called anthocyanin, which is found in these purple grapes. Once the grapes are ripe, the first step of this process starts, which is. Although this may sound like the easiest thing to do when producing red wine, there is actually a lot of thought process behind it. The taste of red wine, or any type of wine, depends largely on when the grapes are picked, with the timing of this action all affecting acidity, sweetness, and flavor. There are a few ways to go about this, either by employing people to pick the grapes by hand or by using a picking machine. The method doesn't have much impact on the wine itself. The destemmer is the machine around which the second step revolves. After the grapes are plucked and collected, they are put into the destemmer machine to be destems. The machine removes the whole grape berries from the stems and may squeeze them slightly to get the juice flowing. Any juice created at these stages prior to pressing is known as free run. Machine-harvested grapes are already ready to ferment. The winemaker decides whether to remove the stalk or ferment the grape cluster as a whole. This is an important option because leaving the stems in fermentation adds astringency, but also reduces sourness. Winemakers also add a measured dose of sulfur dioxide at this stage and also later to kill unwanted microbes and minimize oxidation. The combined juice, skins, and seeds is known as must. Some winemakers cool the must for a day or two, a process called cold soaking, to extract color and flavor compounds from the skins before any alcohol is created. After this, some winemakers add commercial yeast to begin fermentation, while others let the native yeast that clings to the grapes or exists in the cellar's atmosphere start the fermentation. Either way, yeast cells come to life in the sweet solution and begin to convert the sugar into alcohol, heat, and carbon dioxide. A cap of skins forms atop the must. This cap needs to be blended back into the juice at least once per day, but often more during the fermentation process to keep it moist. This process releases carbon dioxide, allows oxygen uptake, speeds extraction from the skins, and manages the heat, which can exceed 100 degrees Fahrenheit if not monitored. Winemakers stir the must or wet the cap by different methods. The juice can be pumped over the cap can be punched down, or the juice can be drawn off the solids and used to re-soak them. Once the fermentation process completed, winemakers transfer the must into wine presses, which separate the skins and seeds from the wine and squeezes the skins to coax out what is known as pressed wine. How hard to press the must is a key winemaking decision. Too hard, and it brings out harsh tannins. Too soft, it might leave the wine lighter in color and texture. Almost all red wines need to age before being bottled and sold. The process can take from a few months to a few years in big tanks, but oak barrels and vats are preferred for high-quality, traditional-style red wines. Usually, malolactic fermentation occurs during maturation, a process that converts the wine's tart malic acid to softer lactic acid. It can occur naturally, however the winemaker can also encourage it by adding a malolactic culture. Winemakers use barrels to impart aromas, flavors, and texture to the wine. New barrels give more intense spicy aromas and enhance flavors, while neutral vessels like barrels that were used previously or containers made from concrete or clay are valued mostly to smooth the wine's texture. Red wine is clarified during the maturation period by racking, fining, and filtering. Sediments like dead yeast cells and tiny bits of grape skins settle out of red wine while it ages. These form a mucky layer at the bottom of barrels and tanks. Racking is the process of pumping or siphoning the now clear wine off the sediment. Blending is an important step to make red wine. The winemaker can add complexity and perfect balance by blending together wine from different barrels and tanks. When a red wine is mature enough to be bottled, it goes through a filtration process, which removes the unwanted particulates still residing in the liquid. Then the process of bottling the wine started. It's very important to do this step with as little exposure to oxygen as possible. A small amount of sulfur dioxide is often added to help preserve the wine. So that's how red wine is made. If you think this video is informative, do like this video and subscribe our channel. May technology bless you.